For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Really good night again tonight in sports. A couple in the NBA, 4 in the MLB, and 4 huge games in the hockey playoffs in NHL. And Jonathan Davis, our very own NHL betting analyst here, joins the program now on the Progressive Guest Line for 2 full segments to talk about the games. Jonathan, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Oh, guys, I'm doing great. We are, an hour away from puck drop in Ottawa. It is going to be electric there at that game tonight.
Okay, so let's begin with that game, obviously, then, because we've been talking about it for 2 days now, like betting the Maple Leafs tonight compared to a Game 7, if in fact Ottawa would win tonight, and how tight it would be in that arena. Start by telling the audience about the fertility for the Maple Leafs in this spot over the years.
So 1-13 in closeout games are Toronto, 0-30 on the power play since 2018. The last power play goal they scored was by Jake Gardiner, who is no longer in the NHL. That was in 2017.
And that's power play in elimination games, 0-30 in that time, which seems like it's completely made up.
You would think, but that's with Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, and to a lesser degree, John Tavares.
Right.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
That is the case. But look, this has been my criticism of Matthews and Marner for quite some time. They love to win. They don't hate to lose. They're not Nathan McKinnon, who would run over his mother. And until they do hate to lose, this team won't win.
Okay, excellent. So the other thing I cannot believe is the fans and media are all over them, and they come out after getting shut out and say we're fine after losing the last 2 games. So imagine if Ottawa gets the lead tonight. You come out with that statement, and then you could fall behind, and then the building's really up for grabs. So your thoughts on those comments, and also how important the first goal is tonight in this game if the Leafs fall behind.
Well, yeah, I didn't like the comments from Mitch Marner, but I wasn't surprised by them. And Brady Tkachuk was asked after the game by Kyle Bukauskas from Hockey Night in Canada, are you guys in the Leafs' heads? And he said, yeah, I think we are. It is absolutely important for the Leafs to score the first goal. And look, the trend has been that the team that loses the previous game, scores the first goal the next game. I think it's 22-10 heading into tonight. So it's super important for Toronto to score that first goal and take the crowd out of it.
Okay, so which players then? You just talked about your lack of trust in these players, some of them anyway, because they love to win. They don't hate to lose, and I get your point there. So far in the series, Matthews has 18 shots on goal. Tavares has 16. Nylander has 14. Tavares is 2.5 over his minus 15 cents. Is there a player there? Is there somebody else who you're like, okay, I think that he's going to get his shots, and you trust him with like one of his props?
Well, you could target Tavares at over 2.5. You could even target, from the Leafs' perspective, Max Pacioretty at over 1.5. He's been bumped up to the second line tonight. So I could see value in both those guys. I think Pacioretty's gone like 9 straight or 9 of his last 10 games over 1.5 shots. Now, he's been used, he's been in and out of the lineup dealing with injury, but that's not a bad play. For me, though, the best play is Brady Tkachuk, over 3.5 shots. You're paying a bit of juice. You can actually reduce the juice if you go to FanDuel. I think they're the one site that offers a regulation-only line. But Brady Tkachuk is the guy that carries this team. He's had more than, I think, 5 or more in all but one game in this series. That's the one shot prop that I'm riding tonight.
Okay. Then do you want to plunk down some money here on the Maple Leafs to win the game at plus money? Because if they lose, you know that they're going to be laying a pretty heavy price in Game 7.
The only way I play Toronto tonight, I don't. I mean,
okay.
if I play Toronto, I would play them on the reverse puck line at -1.5, and I think it's plus 240. 11 of the 15 dogs, and that's what Toronto is tonight, that have won the games in the playoffs have covered that reverse puck line. So for me, if you like Toronto, play the reverse puck line.
All right.
I like third period over 2,
Yep.
and I like an empty net goal in this one. I think those are both safe plays.
Okay, and every game last night had an empty net as well. How about first period over too?
I'm staying off.
Okay.
I'm being conservative tonight. Like I said, I love Brady Tkachuk. Like for me, that's the best play on the board. Tkachuk to go over his shots on goal prop.
All right, I know what you're doing in the Vegas game at 4:40 Pacific. At DraftKings, Golden Knights $1.65. But as Mitch has said, if you're out in Nevada, wait. If you want the Wild and plus the 1.5, all 5 games, the first period has gone over. Right back with it?
Yeah, right back with it. 5-0 as you just said to the first period over. 4-1 to both teams to score in the first period. Again, if you want to play the trend, the losing team scores the first goal of the game. That one is, I think, 3-1 in this series. So you could play Minnesota to score the first goal. But if you're going to play a side, I agree with Mitch. You can only play Minnesota at this price unless you want to come back with Vegas at -1.5 and plus 155. Again, just because favorites have covered the puck line in about 70% of the games that they have won this year. I like the third period over 2. I like an empty net goal in this one as well.
All right.
I would stay away from the second period over. Vegas has only 2 second period goals in the series. The Wild only have 4.
What are we laying for juice with your angle if it's scoreless after 1 in play, which is second period 6-1 over? How significant's the juice on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, you can. What I tend to do with that, Pauly, is that you may have to lay about 170 off the top, and I'll do that. I'll split my bet. I'll make a small play, at a big price, and then hope that we don't get a really quick goal, and then add to that bet. But if you get 0-0, look, I don't think we're getting 0-0 in this Vegas game after 1, but in general, that's what I've done with those games that have gone 0-0 after the first period.
What do we know at this point? Again, they're going to drop the puck in less than 90 minutes about the Wild goaltender here, Gustafsson, who had to leave the game early. He was sick in Game 5.
Yeah, and this guy also got sick during the Four Nations tournament as well. So, I don't know what it is, but he's good to go. Now, on the Vegas side, no Pavel Dorofeev, their leading goal scorer during the regular season. He is out. Victor Olofsson replaces Dorofeev on the power play and the number 1 power play for Vegas. Mark Stone goes up to the top unit. So Vegas is their shutdown unit is also probably their most skilled offensive unit. It's going to have Stone, Eichel, and Karlsson. Their job not only to score is to try to shut down Boldy, Kaprizov, and Joel Eriksson-Ek. That's what they've been entrusted for tonight.
Which player props you want to go to war with here? Pauly brought up Stone over 1.5 shots on goal. I think that you're going to like Eichel, but how do you want to approach it here? Do you want to go over shots on goal with him? Do you want to go with a point scored and assist?
My first one, I would go Eichel over 2.5. I mean, look, Game 5, everything was funneled through Jack Eichel. I think he had 5 or 6 shots. So I would even be tempted to ladder him. What I would do is I would go over 2.5 in regulation if you can make that play. That way you reduce the juice. And then I go over 3.5 full game. You're going to still get plus money on that. So that's the way I'm approaching Jack Eichel tonight. And then I also parlayed Kaprizov and Boldy over 0.5 point. I got it about -135, I think it was. I just think, look, Boldy's had points in all but 1. Kaprizov has had a point in every game. I just think it's too good to pass up.
All right. Colorado's up to $1.95 in some spots. It's been a different series, especially what they've done offensively since Game 1 when they've gone at home as opposed to the road games in Dallas. No respect for Dallas. They came in on an 8-game losing streak, but here they are, 1 win away from advancing. I'll file this away, too. If Dallas loses, you got the Boar in Game 7, that angle as well. 6.5 the total. What do you think here if Colorado forces a Game 7?
Well, like what Mitch was saying about Vegas, there's only one side that you could play for me, just strictly on the number, and that's Dallas. I think Colorado wins. I played Colorado to score first in this game today. You could also play them to score first in the first period. Their previous 2 losses in this series, they scored a first period. They've scored a first period goal and the first goal in the next game. I just played them to score the first goal at about minus 140, but you can get it at even money if you wanted to play them to score the first goal of the first period. And then Nathan McKinnon, Mitch, you talked about it earlier in the show. I played him over 3.5. I could see laddering him up, over 4.5 and even over 5.5 as well. Everything's going to go through Nathan McKinnon. It always does. That to me is the best play. And again, over 2 in the third period and an empty net goal as well in this one.
Yeah, you can find plus money, by the way. I'm looking at BetMGM for these games, most of them anyway that I've seen so far, to get an empty net goal by any of the teams actually at any point in the game. So McKinnon, but this stretch has been nuts, man. 31 shots on goal in 5 games. He's gone over 6.5 shots on goal in 3 of them. So you liked over 3.5, like you talked about it, maybe some juice there. What about Mikko Rantanen tonight, who's also been very, very good with the shots on goal in this series?
Yeah, Mitch, thanks for reminding me on that one. Yeah, Rantanen over 2.5 tonight. I think he's cashed that in all but one game in the playoffs, and he scored a goal in the last game. But yeah, I absolutely on Rantanen over 2.5. And if you're looking for a Dallas player, and I haven't played this, but if you're looking for a Dallas player to score a goal tonight, Wyatt Johnston, who got his first 2 goals of the series in game number 5, he had 7 road goals last year in the playoffs in 9 games. Always a good bet. I love Wyatt Johnston. I may end up sprinkling on it, but that's one Dallas player that rises to the occasion.
Okay. Of all the bets that we talked about so far, would you have a best one, or do you like them all pretty much the same?
Well, I would say for me right now, what we've talked about, McKinnon and Tkachuk are my 2 favorite shots on goal props. Those would be my favorite, right? Those would be my 2 best of the shots on goal that we've discussed.
All right, hang tight. More with Jonathan Davis up next. VSiN's very own NHL betting analyst. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. We will get into the other game on the board, which is the Kings and the Oilers. Can he make a case for the Kings in this game tonight? And we got to get into Game 6, Blues-Jets, and also the series price and the Hurricanes and Capitals coming up next here on Follow the Money.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue hitting the NHL playoffs with VSiN's very own NHL betting analyst, Jonathan Davis, as he's on the Progressive Guest Line. We hit the first 3 games tonight, and now the last one here, Jonathan, and it's Edmonton now back at home against the LA Kings. Boy, how this series shifted like in a heartbeat, and I haven't heard too many people make a case for the Kings to bounce back and win this game tonight. Can you make a case to bet them?
No. Well, again, strictly on the price, sure, but I mean, no, I can't. I mean, look, this team just has to be, mind screwed. Really, I mean, for what they've gone through the last 3 years and what they've gone through over these last 3 games, you have to be really concerned where their heads are at. I mean, since the third period of Game 4, guys, they've been outshot 79-35. It's ridiculous. Adrian Kempe leads the league in points in the playoffs. He's a -7. Anze Kopitar is third, tied for third in points. He's a 2-time Selke winner. He's a -5. They can't play Edmonton 5-on-5 because they're playing essentially with 9 forwards, and it's killing them. And it's killing their blue line as well because, look, through Game 4, they played essentially 4.5 defensemen. So it's hard.
Yep.
Like before the series started, Edmonton was the deeper team, or LA was the deeper team. But the way that the Oilers have come on and the way that the guys that were injured prior to the playoffs have gotten healthier, Edmonton is the deeper team.
How much blame does Hiller get? You've been covering hockey since 1988 between the decision to go prevent defense in the Game 4, and then you called it the worst challenge you've ever seen in Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, like I think it's been coaching malpractice, to be honest with you. Like it's horrible what's going on, and I just it just seems like he has been absolutely outcoached, and for an LA team that prided itself on really playing everybody during the regular season, I don't understand what's going on. Like they've got a center in Sammy Helenius. He's their fourth line center. He's 6'6". He has played, I looked the last 2 games, guys, he's played a combined roughly 6 minutes. He's had 7 hits in 6 minutes of ice time. He should be out there more. Like just, use your bench, use your size. Like they were playing with a fourth line center, Blake Lizotte, who was like 5'0". They added some size. They're not taking advantage of what they've got. They just don't trust their players. They don't trust their younger players. And that's been an organizational flaw that goes beyond the coach for a number of years.
Interesting. So the 14-1 overrun came to an end with Kempe shots on goal. He was plus money to have an assist last game that cashed. What do you want to do with Kempe props?
I'm not touching him. Okay. I was talking to some Oilers people when they were in town here for Game 5, and Edmonton is just making a point of pounding him. And I'll back off. Like for me, Evander Kane over 2.5 shots on goal is the one shot prop that I really like in this one. He's had like 14 shots or 13 shots the last 3 games. He's had at least 4 in each of the last 3 games. This is a guy was out for the entire year. Got off to a slow start in Game 2, but games 3, 4, and 5, he's been an absolute beast for the Oilers. You're getting him at plus money. And I've tied Kane into a parlay both with McDavid and Draisaitl to each get a point, and you're getting that at plus money if you with the Kane shots and both Leon and Connor to get a point. I think it's like 18 straight games or something for Leon that he's had a point against the Kings in the playoffs, and I think Connor is 14 of the last 15.
True or false, Jonathan? If Edmonton wins the game tonight, they will be skating for the cup again this year. No,
I say false. Yeah, I think that it's either going to be Vegas or Dallas that will represent the West. I just don't trust ultimately, the goaltending in Edmonton, and especially if Ekholm isn't back for Edmonton for round 2, I just don't see how they can get away with it against either Vegas or Dallas.
Okay. How about tomorrow, the only game? St. Louis is $1.15. It was a costly win for the Jets. Scheifele didn't make the trip. He got hurt. They couldn't capitalize on the 4-minute power play. They did win the game, though, and they were, again, Hellebuck gave up 2 goals on the first 7 shots, though. How about the numbers you have on Hellebuck on the road? And what do you think about the Blues forcing a Game 7 tomorrow?
I like them to force a Game 7. I mean, Hellebuck just 1 win in his last 9 road playoff games. The Blues have won 14 in a row at home. They're going to have to play much better, though, than they did in Game 5. That was, Jim Montgomery talked about it. We were just awful, plain and simple. So it's, put that game away, come back home and right the ship. But yeah, I think, with Mark Scheifele out, that's a big loss, obviously, for Winnipeg. You lose your center who's got more career playoff goals than anybody else on the Jets. Love the Blues at home. Also, first period angle in this one. All 5 games in this series have gone over in the first period.
Very good. Excellent. Thanks for that. Is this too rich? Carolina, second round. $1.50 series price against Washington. Logan Thompson's been great. Washington has home ice. And I don't know about the Anderson situation because I don't think you can trust Kochetkov, the backup in Carolina. What say you?
Yeah, the price doesn't excite me. I would like Carolina to win the series. Look, I didn't, even if Freddie was in, I wouldn't trust him. Like, this is one where there's flaws on both sides. Logan Thompson has answered the question. He struggled. We talked about it a lot during the season, Pauly and Mitch. 3 goals or more. They were going through stretches of giving up goals, both Thompson and Charlie Lindgren. But the goaltending right now, better in Washington. I like the team. I like the Carolina Hurricanes as a team more than I like the Washington Capitals. It's going to be a nasty series. I mean, they had some nasty ones down the stretch. Again, maybe on price, I would, maybe you take Washington. I would rather play see what the line is, and play this series to go both 6 and 7 games. You're going to get plus money, kind of like what I did with Toronto, Ottawa. I bet that series to go 6 and 7. It was plus 200 for both, so I'll walk away, with a unit on that one, and that's the way I would approach Carolina, Washington.
All right. You said that it's going to be Dallas or VGK to come out of the West. Then of the teams remaining in the East, which team do you have?
Well, I guess I've got Florida right now. I mean, I really thought that they would be gassed, but I think that I think Florida will beat whether it's Toronto or Ottawa. I'm really hoping that they play Ottawa next round, because then we got the battle of the Kachuk brothers, and that would just be great theater. But I just think Florida's built. The Brad Marchand addition is great. Has been great for this team. They're nasty. Like they can play any style. Sergei Bobrovsky was outstanding against Tampa, and they're super deep. So for me, yeah, I didn't think it would be Florida. I thought Tampa would win, but if I've got to bet a team right now that Florida is in, I'll take Florida to go through the East.
All right. If Ottawa wins the game tonight, and Toronto is laying a big price in Game 7, what is your plan for that game? Would you take Ottawa plus a goal and a half? Would you take them outright? How would you want to fade Toronto?
Well, I mean, I would probably just play Ottawa small, just because I've already guaranteed myself a profit, with the series plays. So I couldn't bet Toronto. It would be Ottawa or nothing if you're going to play a side in a Game 7 if we get to that.
All right, very good. That was awesome, man.
Good job.
Follow Jonathan on X. He's at West Coast HKY. Enjoy the games tonight. Best of luck.
Absolutely, guys. And I'll be live tweeting out plays as well. So, yeah, stick around and we'll have stuff during the games.
Very good.
Thank you.
There you go. He was on the Progressive Guest line.
Well, I want to see Florida, Toronto. I think that'd be awesome. That would be. And I think Carolina, Washington's fascinating as well.
Sure.
Especially if Anderson's out. I don't see how you can say all the right things about day-to-day. That was a brutal hit that Timo Meier laid him out.
Agree.
So how about this? J.J. Redick. Sometimes this is hard to admit. We lost to a better team. That's the reality. Also, we must be in championship shape next season.
Oh, well, huh. Who's he taking a shot at there?
And Halliburton's dad is going to stay away from Pacers games. I thought that was coming, too. Like, that was crazy.
I'm glad Tyrese called him out.
He had to, right.
He's
the only guy there. I couldn't believe Shaq. He's defending him. Comes with the territory. He kept repeating. Comes with you. You can't. You're a fan. You can't come on the floor and taunt the player to his face.
Of course not.
You can't do that.
Never, ever is that acceptable. Territory.
Barkley was stunned. So come on, man. You got to be. They even apologized. Halliburton said, "Yeah, Pops was wrong. Bad move by him."
Sure.
Now he's staying away.
His own son called him out, but Shaq thinks it's okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
I see some people wanted him banned for like a year, which I didn't have a problem with either. Just say you gotta sit up in the suite. Then you can't be a front row if you're gonna act like that.
Gut reaction to this: the Pacers plus 2.5 games minus 130.
Oh, very good. I like that. Yeah, we're gonna have a series here. It's not going to be easy for the Cavs.
Yep. J.R. Starkus on the program coming up next. He will make a drink live on the air that you can easily have on hand this weekend at a Kentucky Derby party, and I promise it's going to be excellent. That's next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, no better weekend, right, when you're going to have like a Kentucky Derby party to try to impress people at your house, or maybe you go to a party together like, hey, you know what? I heard about a really cool drink. I know how to make it better than what you're typically going to have it. So right now, J.R. Starkus joins the program in studio. He is with Southern Glacier Wine and Spirits here in Southern Nevada. And a great Instagram handle as well, at JR Makes Drinks. You've been doing this for a long, long time. Good to see you again. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me back. Pleasure to be here.
Here is my analogy for you and the drink that you're about to make. I don't have a big sweet tooth anymore. I used to when I was younger, and I said at one point in my life, I got it, cut them out, and I did cold turkey. Bam. Don't have any cravings for them. Rarely eat desserts.
Lucky.
I would tell you that my favorite dessert on the planet is a carrot cake.
Okay.
However, carrot cake is made incorrectly roughly 95 to 98% of the time. Okay. Because a good carrot cake needs to have pineapple in it to keep it moist. And Also, less is more with the frosting, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
That is also my opinion with a mint julep. The first couple that I ever had were like, people drink these? These are awful. How is this a thing? But then you came on the local show that I did more than a decade ago, and I think this is the first drink you ever made.
Crazy.
And I took one sip, and I was like, wait a second here. This is gold. You're onto something.
Right.
So take it away, and with the mint julep here.
So, the funny thing is that you're right. There's a lot of supremely easy cocktails, the mint julep being one of them, margarita old-fashioned is another. They're so easy to make, but somehow they're blown, like, all the time.
Now, how can that be?
I mean, poor ingredients, right? Not knowing the correct technique could be a thing. People thinking that they're zhuzhing it up, but, like, you're just making the drink worse.
You get pissed when people blow a margarita.
The margarita is my favorite drink. So it's not hard for me to tell when something is made, like, poorly or it's unbalanced. So, yeah, I mean, that one bugs me a lot because it is so easy to make. Most of the drinks that you make at home or in bars or that are classic drinks, a lot of them, they're spirit-based sour. So it's like spirit, lemon or lime, and some sort of sweetener. Super easy. It's just a matter of, like, balancing those ingredients to make it right. A lot of people don't do it correctly. With the old-fashioned or with the mint julep that we made that one, like, the easiest thing for people to do is either not put enough or way too much syrup in.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And they just over-sweeten the drink, and for somebody without a sweet tooth like yourself, that'll immediately tell you, like, right away, you're like, ugh, gross, right? And the whiskey that you choose is important because proof makes a difference. So for the drink that I'm going to do today, I'm using Elijah Craig Small Batch. It's a tremendous whiskey, very affordable, so you're not breaking the bank, but it's at 94 proof. Ideally, for a cocktail, in my opinion, 90 to 100 proof is where you should be.
Okay.
So if you're using a whiskey that's less than 90, maybe even 80 proof, which is where a lot of them can come in at, right? Standard, with an absorbent amount of syrup or sweetener or too much, even a little bit, right away it's like off-putting because there's not enough alcohol to cut through the sweetness. And the drink is completely unbalanced, flat, not good. People sometimes will add bitters to a mint julep, not necessary, not in the drink. That's trying to zhuzh it up. That's not the drink. It's such a supremely easy drink to make that it bugs me when it's not done correctly.
So this, again, you've been doing this for a long, long time. You could pull rank or, like, point to the scoreboard when you go out, right, and want to have a margarita. Do you ever do that? Like, are you ever looking behind the bar and just say, look, pal, I'm sorry to call you out on this. That's going to be a garbage drink. Can you, sorry.
No,
of course you don't. Yeah.
I would feel pretty bad if I did that. So what I try to do is the research before I order the drink.
Yeah.
So I think we've talked about this before, actually, is when I personally walk into a bar, if I don't know what I'm walking into, a quick survey of what's happening on the back bar or the bartender's mannerisms or something like that will tell me what I need to order.
Ooh. Right. So you read the body language.
I read the bartender. I read the bar.
So what's the tell?
Okay, so an example, right? An easy one for me is if your vermouth is out on the bar, especially with a pour top in it, I'm not ordering probably any kind of a cocktail from you. I'll probably order a beer. Reason, vermouth is wine. And now you're putting wine on the back bar with a pour spout in it. So if you've ever had, you ever had a bottle of wine that maybe you didn't finish it, and then maybe you didn't get back to it for a week, and then you go to it and it tastes like vinegar, right? Because it's got too much oxygen now. Well, that's what happens with vermouth sitting on the back bar with a pour spout, and it's just sucking up air. It's part of the reason why, over the years, you hear people order a martini, vodka or gin, and they're like, no vermouth. I don't want any vermouth. And the reason why they don't want vermouth is because bartenders for years have been just giving them poor vermouth. Anytime you put a vermouth that's on your back bar that's been open for 6 months with a pour spout into somebody's drink, of course it's going to taste poorly.
Great knowledge.
So naturally, you think to yourself as maybe somebody who's maybe novice, I guess I just don't like vermouth. Or, I hate vermouth. Well, if you had a fresh bottle of vermouth, or it was kept properly in the refrigerator, by the way, you would probably drink vermouth and say, wow, that's fantastic. Or I've turned more people onto vermouth just by itself on the rocks because it's delicious. It's almost like a less sweetened sangria in certain instances. It's got spices, it's got flavor, it's wine-based, it's great. But if we as bartenders treat an ingredient improperly, it turns out a poor drink.
Now, that is awesome knowledge and great intel, and I pick up something from you every single time that you're on the program.
Thank you.
Okay.
How do I blow an old-fashioned?
Oh, okay. So...
Like 1,000 ways or what?
Well, because I've had. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Okay,
this is not an old-fashioned.
So the old-fashioned, right, is very simple drink. As a matter of fact, the julep is basically an old-fashioned sub-mint. Okay, so an old-fashioned is whiskey, sugar, simple syrup, and bitters. Okay? A mint julep is whiskey, simple syrup, and mint. So you're just subbing the mint for bitters. That's it. That's all it is.
That's the only difference.
I mean, other than the ice and the cup and stuff like that, but the recipe itself, that's it, really. A lot of people, for an old-fashioned, you'll see people still muddling cherries and muddling oranges. No, not necessary, not a thing, right? Also, you'll see people adding club soda to the drink. Also not a thing, right? Some people say, well, I add club soda because if they're muddling like a sugar cube in the drink, I need it to break up the sugar cube. Well, no, you don't. Put the bitters on it, and that will do it, right? And then you see the really novice bartenders will say, I love this one, when they add club soda, you said, why did you put club soda in that? I said, well, because the glass wasn't full. It's like, it's not supposed to be full. Like, it's supposed to be a little short. It's just whiskey and a little bit of sugar and some bitters. Like, the glass isn't always going to be full. That's just not the way that it works.
You didn't order a quadruple, right? Give me hammered here with one drink.
Yeah.
You didn't do that. So that's you sound like almost like a chef talking, honestly. And it kind of is the same thing, is it not? Where the recipe, like there's something that there's a chemistry to this whole thing.
Yes, of course. And in the spirit of like Italian cooking, right? If you speak to my many Italian friends, will tell you that the best Italian cooking is very simple. You let the ingredients speak for themselves. And that's what the mint julep or the old-fashioned does. Like, you pick a great whiskey, and you slightly accentuate it with a little bit of sugar and some mint or bitters. That's it. Want to make it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And explain this now to people exactly what you're doing. I love the glass that you have here.
Yeah, so if you're going to make a mint julep, you want to use a julep cup, right? Not everybody has this, but it's a metal cup, right, that kind of takes in the chill of the ice perfectly. In the perfect world, you want mint, sugar, and good mint, and this julep cup. So I have about 10 pieces of mint in here. If you like mint, add more. If you don't like as much mint, add less. It's up to you. I'm going to muddle this, and what you'll see that I'm doing here is I'm just pressing the mint down. I'm not working too hard. A lot of bartenders, another way they'll mess things up is they will just completely destroy the mint and work too hard and make a pesto. We're not making pesto. We're just pressing the oils out of the mint. You might even be able to start to smell it. Then I added 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, and I'm going to add 2.5 ounces of my bourbon. Okay, Elijah Craig, small batch. Then I'm going to add some cubed or pebble ice.
Okay. So there you go. This is very simple so far, obviously. The technique, not very strong, again, when you're muddling the mint, so to speak. You're not destroying it. You're not crushing it. You only did that, probably 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, very simple.
Yeah, okay.
So I add the pebble ice, and now I take a bar spoon or some sort of spoon, and I'm just taking and incorporating the whiskey, the mint, and the syrup. And by doing it with the ice like this, what it's doing is it's diluting the ingredients, diluting the alcohol, and chilling, right? You can probably see it chilling on the outside of the glass, which is what makes this a perfect drink. So you just incorporate it like this. Then we'll add a little more ice. You want it to cusp over the top like that. Some fresh mint. If you're at home, you can smack it in your hands, or you can smack it on the side of the glass like this. Beautiful mint, right in the glass like so. There you go.
Okay.
Mint julep.
Hang tight.
Yep.
We're up against it here.
Yep.
We'll come back. We'll try it on the air. Tell you how it is. My guess is going to be terrific. And also, we have in-pocket plays more with JR Starkus. Follow him on Instagram at JR Makes Drinks. That's all here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Algorithm to determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-to-1 odds. Nope. 5-to-1. Nope. 10-to-1. You're on.
All right. Winner with the Capitals under last night as they finally win a series for the first time since 2018. And then all the new plays and the pending, which are going to be a fun night tonight with all the games. 6 elimination games, and the road team favored in 5 of them. We'll go Stone, shots on goal, over 1.5, minus 170. Cunningham, PRA, most PRA tonight, minus 115. And Joker under 27.5. Joker under 27.5 with the points.
Okay, very good. Nice job with the hockey again last night, Pauly. All right, so I'm on a bunch of different bets again tonight as well. I have Norman Powell over 2.5 made threes at plus 130. I'm on Cat again tonight. Boy, took a wrecking ball to my head the other game, but I'll do it again at 2-1 on over 2.5 made threes. Mikko Rantanen over 2.5 shots on goal plus 105. Gone over that in 4 out of the 5 games in the series so far. And coming up with the Red Sox, Jarren Duran over 1.5 total bases, minus 115. Has really small sample size, has really good career numbers against Jose Barrios, but also kid's been hot now for like 10 straight games. So he's gone over 1.5 total bases, I think, in 8 out of his last 9. So that's what I'm rolling with tonight with the player props.
All right, whether you're placing your first bet or playing the ponies for years, Kentucky Derby Betting Guide has everything you need to get ahead on Derby Day. A breakdown of how to bet on horse racing, which is great for beginners. Detailed previews of both the Derby and the Oaks. Best bets from top racing experts help serious bettors cash. The guide is yours with the VSiN Pro subscription. $9.99, get your first 30 days VSiN Pro. With the Derby Guide, every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, and more. VSiN.com/subscribe. How many of these, Jay, are they going to sell Saturday?
Probably over 100,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what you said earlier about this better be easy to make.
It's got to be easy. If you're making that many drinks, like mint juleps in a weekend or whatever, through the Oaks, Kentucky Oaks, and the Derby, it's got to be an easy drink to make. It just has to be. You cannot spend too much time doing it because you're going to get hammered as a bartender, and and not in the good way, But you have to be able to manufacture these drinks quickly, so that's what they do. So it can't be too difficult.
You can follow J.R. Starkus on Instagram at JR Makes Drinks. He is with Southern Glacier Wine and Spirits here in Southern Nevada, and he explained how to make a very simple mint julep in the previous segment. You can always go back and watch it on the VSiN Watch app. So Pauly's going to give it a shot right now in the julep cup, by the way, which keeps it like at minus 30 degrees, I think. I mean, it's crazy cold. And so you would recommend drinking this with the straw and not just drinking it out of the cup, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I think like you could drink it out of the cup if you wanted to, but I think just with the pebble ice, it's maybe a little too much when you put your mouth up to it. It kind of spills on yourself. So straws, you like the way to go here, I think. Yeah,
great job.
For sure. Thank you.
You like mint, Pauly?
No.
Oh, you don't?
But the drink's awesome.
So I like mint. So I love the fact that, now, is this the reason why you put the mint on top as well? So like when you're raising the cup to take a drink, is that you get the scent of the mint in the nose, obviously, and then you're going to get the flavor of it in the mouth at the same exact time, so it kind of goes together?
Correct. Garnish can play a couple different roles in a cocktail. Anytime you have a drink, you drink with your eyes first. Oh. Okay, so if I put something in front of you and you already are, it doesn't matter what's in the drink. If I put something in front of you, you look at it and you say to yourself, "Man, that looks delicious." It's going to be hard to change your mind, probably, right? Nobody likes to be wrong, but so if I put the drink in front of you and it looks great, you're thinking to yourself, that looks great, and then you take a sip and you're like, "Yeah, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be." Right? It's delicious. Yeah. Opposite can be true though. You can make any drink, the best drink in the world, whatever that is for you, and put it into a crappy vessel or a crappy garnish or dead mint, and you're like, that doesn't look good, and immediately it's not.
Can I give you an example? I had a drink on Monday night. Never heard of it before. My wife had an invite to a restaurant. I think you might be at this restaurant, actually, where on the menu was and I love pistachio coffee.
Okay.
It's like the perfect combination, in my opinion, and not many stores offer it, or coffee shops. They had a pistachio espresso martini on the menu. Okay. Bourbon steak.
Okay, yes.
And it came out, and it looked like art to me. And like, that is... And I don't drink many espresso martinis just because it keeps me up every single time I do it. So I'm like, I got to shy away from those. And it looked brilliant. And I took one sip, and they had pistachio on the rim or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, it's so good.
So good.
Yeah. But I knew in my mind, I was like, there's no way it's not good. It has to be.
I mean, you went to a good place too, so they're going to put a quality ingredient in front of you. It's kind of, with a chef like that and a restaurant like that in that hotel.
Yeah.
You gotta hold your own as the cocktail program. But yeah, you're right. It's wildly important to put something in front of somebody with a nice garnish. When I teach classes to other bartenders, or when I do bar trainings, it's one of the easiest things for me to pick on when I watch the bar backs or even the bartenders cut garnish. And I'm like, look, you cut a lemon wheel, get a sharp knife. Don't let the lemon wheel look like you cut it with a butcher knife or like a dull butter knife. Because you'll see, like, they'll cut a lemon wheel and it'll be this thick on one side and thin on the other. And I'm like, what? Or the brown spots on the skin. I'm like, what are you doing? It's a lemon. Come on. Like, just little simple touches like that create a variance in how you perceive a cocktail as a guest. And that's, in my opinion, when you use the right glassware, the right ice, the right garnish, high quality ingredients, you can ask for a higher price if it's made correctly. I think a lot of people are okay with that. But when you try to get $25 for a drink and you're using lackluster products with lackluster garnish, now people have a problem because they feel like they're ripped off.
How many, you said this the first time you came in, how many people do what you do?
Well, as far as like my job, or as far as being a master mixologist?
Both.
Okay, so I mean, do what I do. I don't know how many there are with Southern right now, but there are plenty of consultants and mixologists around the country. But as far as master mixologists, like actual certified, 13.
Oh, wow.
13 of us.
Incredible. So, what if I don't want the mint julep? What if I want to step outside the box Saturday?
Okay.
What's this Man of War drink?
So Man of War, named after the famous racehorse Man of War. Nobody really knows who created it, which is standard issue. It's another whiskey drink, of course. So you'll find a lot of these horse racing drinks are whiskey or rye based. So 2 ounces of pick your favorite. Again, between 90 and 100 proof, whiskey or bourbon or rye. I'd go with bourbon, Kentucky. And then you have an ounce of like a Curacao of some sort, like Cointreau or Pierre Ferrand or something like that. But Cointreau will do the trick just fine. And most people have a bottle of Cointreau at their home bar. Half of an ounce of sweet vermouth. Now, what I told you earlier, last segment, is wildly important. Make sure you have good sweet vermouth or not open for 6 years on your counter.
Fresh.
Six vermouth,
Yeah,
yes. Half an ounce sweet vermouth, half an ounce lemon juice. Shaken. You can serve it up if you want, or you can serve it over ice. Another great one, Brown Derby, is a great cocktail. That's bourbon again, 1.5 to 2 ounces of your bourbon, 1 ounce of fresh grapefruit juice. You got to use fresh, and then 3/4 ounces of a honey syrup. Can't just use straight honey. Okay, if you use straight honey, you're going to mess the drink up because honey doesn't assimilate into the cocktail; it'll stick to the ice. So you have to take the honey and a little bit of water, warm water, in equal parts and mix them together to make a honey syrup. But 3/4 ounces of that, so 2 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce fresh grapefruit, 3/4 ounce of honey syrup. That drink is spectacularly delicious, especially for only those 3 ingredients. It's really, really good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Kentucky Mule?
Kentucky Mule, bourbon and ginger beer, just like a Moscow Mule. You can add a little bit of lime juice. You might be able to add, if I were making one, I'd probably put a little bit of bitters in there too, because I think ginger beer and bitters, Angostura or something like that, they just do very well together. So 1.5 ounces of bourbon, 1/2 ounce of lime juice, top it with like a high quality ginger beer, 2 to 3 dashes of Angostura bitters, pour it over ice. Delicious. If you like a Moscow Mule, chances are you'll like that because it is very pungent with the ginger as well.
You're awesome.
Yeah,
That's
excellent.
Great.
as always.
Great.
You got a lot of drinks for your party this weekend.
The next time that JR comes in, I'll tell the story about I went to a whiskey tasting with you at Win Encore several years ago, and he told me specifically, Mitch, go to this place, ask for the good stuff under the table.
Yeah?
I did. What it did to me as soon as I drank it blew me away. I'll explain that. We're up against it right here. And then I Googled how much it cost.
Yeah?
Oh, my God.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. There's a reason it's under the table.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's the next time. No, we'll save it for when he comes in, Nick. I'll tell you off the air.
All right, all right, good. Go all in. Circa Las Vegas Ultimate Getaway Package is $400. 2-night stay at Circa. $100 dining credit, $100 beverage credit in your own daybed at Stadium Swim where the party never stops. All for just $400. Limited time between May 26th and September 4th. Don't miss out. Lock it in. The all-in summer package. CircaLasVegas.com. Go get it.
Again, follow JR on Instagram. He's at JR Makes Drinks. And try it this weekend, right? We want your feedback on what the drinks taste like when you're having a Kentucky Derby party, right?
The listeners here and the viewers here are fantastic. They tweet me or X me or whatever you call it now.
Yeah.
All the time.
Very good.
And they're fantastic. So happy to answer any questions you may have, too.
Dynamite appearance as always. There you go. Good luck with the bets tonight. Prime time is next for 4 hours into cashing out, and then VSiN by the books tomorrow morning.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.